Hi everyone, my name is Shannon and Miss G, and I help individuals and organizations strengthen their creativity through process-based art making. Creativity is a powerful and valuable skill. It's responsible for the world around us. Just think about what you're wearing, what you're sitting on, the structure that you're in. All of this is thanks to creativity. The great news is that creativity is a muscle that we already have. So, I hope that you join me today to stretch and strengthen your creativity through art, because everyone is creative and anyone can make art. Today we're going to find our poetry. First we're going to gather materials while I sing a song I wrote about feelings. Then we're going to think about our process and look at other examples of artists making this work. Then we're going to make the art, and then we're going to look at our work and reflect on our process and really see what we've made. You can go to my blog at findcreativeflow.com/blog to see more videos about this topic, to see further examples from artists, and to see this video written out in steps. First, we need to find some texts, some magazines, newspaper, mail, a book page, something that has writing on it. Let's remember, however, that we need to make sure that we're collecting texts that no one else needs. Today, I'm going to be using Sharpies because I am going to choose magazines to use, and the magazines that I'm using have a more slippery feeling to them that a permanent marker is more helpful for. But if you are using newspaper, mail, a book page, you don't necessarily need to use a permanent marker. You could use just a regular marker, color pencils, or crayons. You can even explore what other materials you have in your home, like paint. Today we are investigating, we're looking into, we're noticing how can we use mixed media to explore our feelings. I wrote a song about feelings because I've been investigating and exploring feelings through art that I would like to share with you while you are gathering your materials. Spiral clouds in the sky, smacking on raspberry pie, in the curvy morning dew. I feel curvy, spiral, and blue. 'Cause feelings, feelings, curvy, dotted, wavy feelings, down to my toes. Dotted lines in the dark, moving through the park, on the diagonal way. I feel dotted, diagonal, and gray. When I feel stuck in despair, I count from 10 to 1. I plant my feet to the earth and take breaths one by one. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 'Cause feelings, feelings, curvy, dotted, wavy feelings, down to my toes. Through the bay, in the afternoon mellow, I feel wavy and yellow. 'Cause feelings, and your writing utensils? Are you ready to make some art? Today we are investigating how can we use mixed media to explore our feelings. Mixed media means combining different materials in an art piece. Today we are going to use text and different writing utensils to explore our feelings through art. Certainly you can use this method to develop and explore your experiences, ideas, or imagination. Today I'm calling this Finding Your Poetry. So let's see how these artists have found their poetry. This is Lynn Readers. We can notice that she used just black ink and she isolated, she pulled out the words that were important to her, and then she left the rest for us to discover. Here is Austin Kleon's work. Austin Kleon is an artist who published a book called Steal Like an Artist. And what he's really talking about in this book and through his artist process is iteration. Art is iteration. Life is iteration. To iterate means to take something that exists and turn it into something new. Think about all of the different ways in life that we have taken what exists and then we make it different or we make it better. Think about the phones or the technology that we use and how there's a 1.0 and a 2.0 and a 3.0. All of that is iteration. Here is another work of Austin Kleon's, I Find Cruelty in My Fear. That's a poem. He pulled the words out, he isolated the text, and then he created design around it with very little, a black marker and a piece of text. Here is an anonymous artist, an artist who did not put their name on their piece, who guides our eye through the text using blue ink, showing us where to look. With the words, our senses use more than images and symbols to see. I see as if looking inside the outside or through my third eye, in our mind. This is a great time for me to remind you to claim your art with your name. Here is another anonymous artist. Don't forget to put your name on your artwork. Who pulled out the words from the text that they wanted to use and then created a scene with different materials, markers, color pencils, crayons, around this work. Time for society to struggle through the dark. That's what this poem says. This piece was written before coronavirus. However, we can see how we can share our experiences and our emotions through art at any time. Tom Phillips is a British artist who shows us that art is alive, it's living, it's constantly changing. He took an original piece of text, he isolated the words and created a design in 1973, and then in 1991, he revisited his work and added more design and more color. We can always go back to our art and iterate it. Change it, make it different, improve it. Here is one last example from Tom Phillips. Time transparent, now the arts connect. That's a poem that shares feelings and experience. So, how are we going to engage with this process? How are we going to make this art today? Here are some suggested steps for making. Choose a constraint. A constraint is a rule for making. So decide what are the words that you're going to pull out. Maybe they start with the same letter. Maybe they're words that you like or that you're curious about. Maybe they're words that you know or words that you think fit together or sound the same. Or maybe you will decide to find your own poetry and make a message. Then you need to isolate your words. You can pull them out by circling, boxing, highlighting. And you can always change. When you're in the process, you might discover, oh wait, something new is happening, something I'm interested in, something I'm curious about. This is a path I want to follow. You can always change your constraint if you decide it's not working for you, or if you notice something new that you want to explore. After you isolate your words, you add design or color around your isolated words. Think about line and color. No matter what, whenever we are making art, it is essential to remember that art is ish. It's human. It's not perfect. It's not going to look like a machine or anyone else's art. And that's what makes it interesting. As we are making art, we must be kind to ourselves and the art. There is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad in this process. See what you can make. Let's get started. I know what my constraint is. I know what I'm going to find. I'm going to find words that really speak to me today about my feelings. Isolate your words first, and then add color, line, and design. I'm pulling out words that connect to my feelings. I know that this is ish. I can box or circle words. I am in a process. I'm just following what my thoughts are, what my feelings are. I'm not worried about it being right or wrong. If you feel stuck, move to a different place in your piece. Revisit different ideas. We know that this is ish. It's not going to be perfect. We're just exploring, seeing what happens, letting the art move through us. If you feel stuck, switch what you're doing. Change your materials.
I'll make it better for you. I'll make it better for you. I'll make it better for you. I'll make it better. I'll make it better. You never have to worry about me. I'll make it better. Baby, that's no pressure. This life is made for us, you see.
See how you can build through your process. Change where you're working on the page. Figure out what matters. See what you want to pull out. We know we're in a process. We don't know what's going to happen, and that's what makes it exciting. Art is alive. Let it live.
I love the way it grows. There's something in this sound that takes me far. It's like a special song.
If you don't know where you're going, that's okay. I don't either. The great part about art in the process, you just see where the art takes you.
Everything will be alright. She told me that the groove is mine. It will take us through the night.
Think about color and design.
Can't explain or never know, but it's beautiful. You can't take this away from me. The way I hear the melody, space, great clarity, running through me. You can't take this away from me. Oh, the way I hear the melody, space, great clarity, running through me. I love the way it sings, all the joy that it brings. Remember skating down the road towards the park. I can never say no. You with that summer glow. The music gives me sun when winter starts. She told me how the bass line, everything will be alright. She told me that the beat is mine, it will rock through the night.
If you're stuck, move to a different place on the page.
Can't explain, I'll never know.
Find a new
But
text.
it's beautiful.
Try a different method.
It's away from me. Oh, the way I hear the melody, the waves bring clarity, running through me. You can't take this away from me. Oh, the way I hear the melody, the waves bring clarity, running through me. Hey, you can't take this away from me. The way I hear the melody, the waves bring clarity, running through me. Oh, yo, you can't take this away from me. Oh, the way I hear the melody, the waves bring clarity, running through me. Running through me. Yo, I wear notes like coats, blues like dudes, warmth in the rhythm, soul that glues, that bounce through the
process is different than what you expected. That's art. That's life. It is a process. So, go through the process. See what you can do with what you have. Notice how the art is alive and changing. How can we show our feelings through this process? What can you do to show your feelings, to isolate the words and bring them out? How can you add color and design? This will be our last song. We know that art is never finished. You can continue this process. You can leave this process. You decide what works for you and your art.
2 birds on the window, Sunday morning limbo. I'm dancing in a bedroom. I got so accustomed, sweet words and discussion. My temper's swollen to blue. La 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 la. I put my trust in to all this laughing. La 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 la.
Notice how your piece is developing. Notice where you started and where you are now. See how your process is working.
I stopped medicating. I'm taking advice from you. I'm lost in melody, harmony, new family. They wrap me up in the cocoon.
Explore different ideas.
I put my trust in to all this laughing. I'm finally fine now. I'm taking my sweet time. Oh, oh. So don't try to me wrong. Don't wrong. 'Cause I'm taking my sweet time. Sweet time. Sweet time. Sweet. Sweet time. Sweet time. Sweet time. Sweet time.
Maybe you're making more of a geometric piece with different lines and designs. Maybe you're making a picture. There are many ways to find your poetry. There are many ways to use mixed media. There are many ways to show your emotions. What works for you today? We are going to pause and look at our art wherever it is right now. Today we investigated how can we use mixed media to explore our feelings. Notice on your piece, what words did you isolate? What did you pull out? Did your constraints work for you? Did you change your constraints during your process? How was isolating the words for you? Did you find your poetry? Let's also notice the colors and the lines that we chose. Do the colors and lines connect to your words? Do they feel like they flowed from you and through you? How did you use your colors and lines today? How did you use your mixed media? Does your piece feel finished? How is it going to live? To be honest with you, I want to continue developing this piece, and I want to see what happens if I use crayons or color pencils or different mixed media after I finish isolating my words. So maybe in looking at your piece you think, ooh, I have another idea for it. Or maybe in looking at your piece you think, yes, this feels finished. My process feels satisfied for this moment, for today. We need to decide, how is our art going to live and breathe in the world? Maybe we'll hang it in our home. Maybe we'll mail this piece to someone. Maybe we'll post it or share it online in some way. Maybe we'll display it in public. We'll hang it in a public place. Or maybe we can turn this into something new. Could we cut this up and make it into a collage? Could we turn this piece into a sculpture somehow? Art is valuable unto itself. It helps us feel grounded. It helps us express ourselves, to show our feelings, our imaginations, our experiences. But art is also transferable. The skills that we work on and develop in art making, we can use in our everyday lives. So let's think about how what we did right now, we can use in our outside worlds. Metacognition means thinking about our thinking. So how can we use today's art learning to transfer to our outside world? Today, we decided words to isolate, to pull out. In our outside world, we can decide which information is important for us and what we will pay attention to. What will we believe? What information matters? How can we isolate information to help us in our world? Today, we also explored and expressed our feelings. In the outside world, our feelings and experiences matter. When we sit and give voice to our feelings, when we let ourselves feel our feelings, we can help them. And we can better process and share our life experiences with others. We can advocate for ourselves. We can express ourselves. We can know what we're feeling so that we can take care of our feelings for ourselves and for others. Speaking of feelings, let's feel how our body and mind feel after our art making experience. So, plant your feet on the floor, grow long through your spine, close your eyes or keep them open, and take 3 inhales and exhales. Breathe in 1, exhale out, blow all the air out, breathe in a second time, exhale out. Last time, inhale in, exhale out. Pause and notice, how does your mind feel? How does your body feel? I had such a great time making art with you today. Thank you for being with me in this process as we stretch and strengthen our creativity. I love seeing the art that you make. Please share it with me. I hope that you join me for next week's art making, because Everyone is creative, and anyone can make art. I'm going to close out class with the theme song that I wrote about art making. Thank you for being with me today. See you soon. If you want some stress relief, make some art. If you want to be productive, make some art. If you want to innovate, imagine and create. If you want to be yourself and see yourself and free yourself,